Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Uboat. My name is Ross, and a lot of you may be thinking, Ross, what are you doing in port? Weren't you on a patrol the last episode? And you'd be right. What this episode is going to be, as you may see by the title and, well, yeah, the title. This episode is going to be mainly a learning the basics. For those of you who may want to get U-Boat or are struggling with some features in the game. So I'm gonna try to go over pretty much everything. Everything basic, that is. When it comes to more complex stuff, then, you're gonna have to figure that out yourself. But I'll just give you a leading hand so you can make your own adventure, pretty much. Yeah, let's kick this stuff right off here in port. So, the first thing that you can do is, over here you have the warehouse, which you can choose to upgrade your ship with, oh boy, the lag. You can upgrade, your hydrophone, you can make, in this case of the Type 2, there isn't that much to upgrade, I will say. And then you can also zoom out in some cases to change like the visual appearance of your submarine. This won't do really anything to my knowledge. It won't, change how you're detected or whatnot. Like even the camo that I have, I don't think that changes anything. Except for looking cool. So that's the upgrade section. Then you can tell this little guy, this one-eyed guy, you want to take command of a different U-boat. And you can switch U-boat with different points that you get from varying missions. I'll show you in a bit. So, you can switch, like it shows a little captain symbol here showing, what you're in command of. You can switch to a Type 2D and you can see a little preview of it. And, you can see a little description and, some statistics about it. And yeah, here you go, these little blueprints right here. And, you can go all the way up to a Type 7C 41, does that say? It's kind of grayed out. I believe that's a 41. So that's that. You know what, let's actually show that first then. If I just zoom out here. Oh god, the lag again. Sorry, the game is having some optimization issues again for me. So if I go here to the Tonnage War, if I get to the second part and complete that, I get one of these upgrade points, so I can actually get a better submarine. So that's how you do that. You need to do some of these missions. As you can see, my lane doesn't have anything except for a skill. So that's a thing to also keep in mind. The last part is, my favorite little tab is where to buy all the crap. Which, yeah, you click on show me what you got. And, you have all these different tabs of, stuff to buy. You have equipment, and, you can see what it is and what it does. U-boat carries... Alright, one engine will produce black smoke, so that's why you would, in some cases, need lubricant if you're out and about for a really long time. Medkits, obviously, if any of your men get hurt, and replacement parts if something breaks or, you have a water leak. Food is self-explanatory, you need food to stay alive. But actually, okay, here's the thing that some of you who are watching, who may be more in-depth in U-Boat than I am, could correct me on. I have actually never... Like, out of every time I played this game throughout the pre-releases, I have never run out of food in my ship. And so I don't know if there is like a starvation mechanic or not. If there is, please correct me. But you may be thinking, well, if your crew can't starve, if that isn't a thing, why should you carry food? Well, that comes into morale, which we'll go over later. I think we'll go over that after this. So food is still very important. Ammunition, self-explanatory. You have the small caliber shit for the 20 mils. The little AA gun that my deck gun on the Type 2 and the AA gun on the Type 7s. Obviously large caliber, that's for the massive 88 on the Type 7s. Fuel, self-explanatory. You need fuel in your fuel tanks, otherwise you're not going to get anywhere. Torpedoes, self-explanatory. The different kinds of torpedoes, a bit too complex to go through. It does explain what they are. And it does say how they're upgraded. So that you'll honestly have to figure out yourself, because I want to keep this kind of short. These are more niche things, I gotta say. So obviously you can take coffee if you're on very long missions and you're being continually bombarded. Like, your crew can't go to sleep because, the alarm is raised because you have a fucking, you have enemy escorts right above you. You might want your officers to drink some coffee so that, they're more concentrated and do their job better. Helmet increases the damage they're able to take. It protects from some of the damage that would normally be inflicted on the officer, but it becomes damage and worn in the process, so keep that in mind. Diving suit, yeah, that's required if you want to dive to a wreck. If you're hunting close to shores, you may want to dive and try to see if you can recover the only thing I know that you can recover is like spare parts and like food. If there's like secret documents, by all means. Even more for reason. Demolition charges, you need a special skill to use this, I believe. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong about that as well. But this is pretty much when you're boarding a neutral ship that you know is trading with an enemy nation. Instead of wasting, the deck gun or torpedoes, you just tell the men to evacuate and you'll just put pretty much bombs in the hold of the ship to, blow her to bits. Breathing apparatus, I've never had a use of. I mean, yeah, it allows a sailor to stay in working compartments underwater or contaminated with toxic air. So, yeah, that's another thing if you feel the need for that. A Car 98, I did mention this last episode. I've never had a use for it. I've always taken it with me when I'm boarding enemy vessels, but I've never had to use it to like defend myself. So that's completely up to you whether or not you want to buy that or not. Alright, so that's it for that part. Let's quickly go over all of these statistics up here. This will run through very quickly. Budget, obviously how much money you have, which you get from completing the mission and sinking enemy ships, and a bunch of smaller stuff. The budget is mainly used for upgrading your ship with, like a new hydrophone and whatnot, and buying supplies, buying, guns, food, torpedoes, fuel, whatnot. Reputation, oh boy. Reputation is stuff that you gain for literally just being good, pretty much. If you, for example, if you give men in the water, like from a sunken ship, food, then you get a tiny bit of reputation. I think it's like 5 out of a 100, I believe, is the point where you level up your reputation. And this is also upped by just doing a lot of missions. If you sink a bunch of ships, you get reputation, because, well, yeah. I don't know if there's a way to lower it, though, so correct me on that. Yeah, discipline, as it says, it determines how resistant to combat stress your crew is. As you can see right now, you can see all the values. The base value is 1. Because we have a bunch of good food in the galley, you get a bonus for varied dishes. And because it is continuously going up, you get a 10% increase because you have normal lighting on. The way that works is that, as you can see, there is no red. There is nothing that is degrading the discipline. And so because it's just perpetually going up, and because I'm in a net plus, I get an even bigger bonus because I have normal lights on. Otherwise, you could rig for red if you want to see better at night, or blue if you want to make the crew, shut the F up. Because, you have you have an enemy ship with a sonar above you. So if I click on the galley, oh boy. Yeah, here we go. You can see I have 2 different kinds of food in here. I could do, throw this stuff in as well. And as you can see, the varied dishes is going up by 12 a minute, which is a lot. If this becomes unmanageable, like you're starting to experience like -10 fatigue per minute, consider, as the game says here, consider going back and sending your crew on vacation. which we'll go through. Air quality, obviously, if you're underwater, your ship cannot take in oxygen unless you're using a snorkel. And if the air quality continues going down, then your crew will start to die. Fuel, self-explanatory. Battery, well, a a standard diesel engine cannot function underwater because, the exhaust need to go somewhere, and it can't go into the submarine because people will die. And so what they have is, pretty much gigantic batteries to power the engines underwater. And obviously, yeah, that's shown by the battery capacity. As you can see, we're actually actually, I mean, it's 0, 0. So yeah, the diesel engines drain 5, the gyro compass drains, but since we're docked and the ship is not moving, we're actually gaining as well. So that's at least good. And how do you up this? Well, by using the engines. The diesel engines charge up the batteries for use later on and whatnot. They share the power. So that's it for that part, I believe. Let's move on to the leading officer. Oh shit, okay. So, this save that I'm showing all this on is, the one that I showed in my last Uboat episode. So what I did was, start of the game and just head back here, because I feel that starting in the port is the best bet. And so you could, change your assignment if you really don't like it. I don't suggest you do. I suggest you complete your mission. Here, your crew needs a break. This is actually not available because I haven't been out at sea that long. Request flotilla change. Then, on later, later in the war, you can change to, say, La Rochelle. When France is taken over, you can switch to have this be your main port, so you can venture out into the Atlantic easier and not have to go through the English Channel all the bloody time. And then obviously later on you go to La Spezia, mess stuff up in the Mediterranean and whatnot. It's great fun. What else do we have? Request a few favors. Yeah, these are stuff that you can do with the upgrade points that you get. So you can increase your officers to 6 men. I think you usually have 5. You can increase it to 7. You need to unlock this one first. Free roam, yeah, allows us to leave port without any assignment, so you can just run around and do literally whatever. Opposite the possibility, yeah. Additional mission choices. I mean, yeah, so you just have more. Because when I go here, I only have 3. But then I would be able to do a lot more, so that's fun. Let's actually show the headquarters. That's up here on the top right, if you go to menu and then headquarters. And you click this and you can choose to research new items. Like here, you can, you can choose to upgrade, or not even upgrade, to get sonar decoys. You need 3 reputation points, I have 0, and you need to have an engineer to do that. So you need to send off one of your officers to do that. Armored conning towers, ammunition production, and oh yeah, look, you can even build Helgoland, you can even build U-boat pens, which would be really good if you're out and about for a really long time and you're not sure if you'll make it. It's good to have this area right outside, just to make sure that you can be resupplied and whatnot. And this, U-boat pens like this make for a really good, just quick resupply port. So, you just run down, resupply, and then boom, you're straight out again. And, hunting stuff down again. This specific area, the headquarters, I suggest you get into a lot if you're, planning on playing the game. Or thinking about buying it. And watching this for that reason. Because you can get a lot of good stuff. Improved torpedo pistols is really, really good to get. And the hydrophone. The hydrophone's absolutely amazing. All this stuff is really good to get. So that's how that works. That's how the headquarters work. Do we have anything else over here? I gotta be honest, not really. That's really important. Right, so the last man in the port we have to show off is the recruitment officer. These men could be your new crew, yeah. So if you can show their files and you can read through them all and see what they what they bring to the table. I'm not sure like if all of this stuff, like this description, means all that much. If it does, then do correct me. Because I remember during the pre-releases it didn't really matter like at all. Since yet again, since I'm making this video from like the last save from the last video. That's a bad explanation. I have survivors from, the 2 ships I sunk in the last video. Then I go to this man and say I brought survivors from his sunk ship. And so I get 300 money for, the captains and the engineers, and 15% reputation for, all of them. So, then you just click to free them, and boom. Then, I have more money, and look at that. Look at how much reputation I got for that. That's a really good way to up your reputation as well. Normal sailors do increase reputation, and they do give you money as well if you give them to the recruitment officer. But engineers and captains give a significant amount more. Both money and reputation, so keep that in mind. And then you can choose a crew for your next assignment. So if one of these guys in your crew are, what should I say? They are... it sounds rude, but if they're a coward, they get stressed out very easily. During a stress test that you yourself can perform. That's not something that you do via the game. I'll briefly explain. How you do that in my case is, if any of you have seen Das Boot, what I would do to stress test the crew is literally take the submarine down to the maximum test depth and just chill there for a good while. And then the crew will, start to mentally break from, hearing all the cracks and whatnot, and the buckles in the submarine, and eventually someone is gonna break, and him, well, that man is clearly not really fit for being on a submarine, because he freaks out and he gets scared, and this little question mark will show that this crew member gets scared easily, or like he can't handle the pressure of war, and then you can click to say, yeah, you know what, I don't really want him. I want this guy instead. And so you click the check mark, and then boom, you have him instead. The task schedule, like all this shit, I do not really care about. If any of you want to get into, like seriously get into Uboat with all of this stuff, I will say try to learn this yourself, because I don't want to go through all of this stuff, because I gotta be honest, I don't know it myself. So that's how the recruitment officer works. We are 18 minutes throughout the episode so far. What we're gonna do now is, we're gonna cut to when I find an enemy ship and show you how to aim torpedoes and how that stuff works. Alright, so here we are. We actually found an enemy vessel here, and this is, like, I'll go through this briefly, because this episode's been running long enough. What you want to do, if you feel that you will encounter an enemy vessel soon, is, on PC anyway, because I don't know how controllers say, like, with key mappings work, you want to hold tab, to get the crew, the officer tab up. Go to one of your engineers and click, this little torpedo so that he preheats it. Now, what preheating does is significantly reduce the chance for a dud, because that's simply a thing that can happen. Sometimes the torpedo may hit the target, but it literally doesn't do anything. And preheating a torpedo makes sure that that doesn't happen. Then, it has a higher chance to actually explode once it hits its mark. So that's always quite good to do. If I zoom in now and check on my torpedo tubes, you can see this little bar showing for how long they will stay preheated. There is no timer for it that, oh yeah, they'll be preheated for another 5 minutes or so. This is just something you'll have to learn, I guess. I do it quite regularly, just preheat them a lot of times just to make sure that they stay preheated. Let's try to see if we can't get on this guy now. I don't really care whether or not it is like civilian or not. We can make, yeah, it is. It's Norwegian. That's actually fine though. Like it's not allowed to be sunk. That's true. But we'll just do it anyway, because I don't care. Because all this is just to show off how it works. So when you find a ship, you want to send one of your leaders, the guy with this medal next to his name, or your captain, to the attack periscope, and he'll get this little crosshair next to him. If you click on this, you get to this view, or it should look something like, it may look like this for you. So what you want to do is see this little button up here and click on this to zoom in, and then you're in the view that I always use. You use this little button right here to zero the sight at, 0. And then you use W, A, and D to move the scope around. You can use this to zoom out. Sometimes it's a bit finicky. But there she is. So let's zoom in. And then you have a button here to lock, or I can put my mouse cursor on her and click and left click. Velocity, we can actually zoom in a lot more. Velocity, here. Point the periscope at the front of your target, so right here. And then start the chronometer. Then I'll just show how it works. So we put it here and then start. Might have been a little bit late there, but now we wait for the entire ship to pass past my sight. I'm not going to touch anything. And then when the entire ship has moved past, we click on stop down here, and then it'll give us a speed. I can almost guarantee that she's moving 13 kph, 13 or 14. And she's almost all the way through, and boom. I've messed it up. Okay, cool. GG. But I can pretty much guarantee... I'll pause real quick. I can pretty much guarantee that she's going at 13 kph, because that is the speed that freighters usually move at. What that is in knots, I'm not sure. That you'll have to figure out, or like do the conversion. Angle on bow. Let's start with the angle on bow. As you can see here, rotate the arrow to set the angle on bow, which is an angle at which your U-boat appears to be from the perspective of someone on the target ship. Sounds a bit confusing, but imagine that there is someone on this ship. And obviously, we are on her left side, nearly 90 degrees straight on. So we will be on her left, about there. Just about. And it doesn't have to be super precise at these relatively short ranges. Then you can also do this, relative course. Rotate the arrow to visually match the course of your target just as you see it. Oh boy. I actually don't know what that means. Visually match the course of your target. Well, my target is going... Okay, I gotta be honest, I'm not entirely sure of what that means. Match the course of my target. I mean, my course is moving to the left. But why does it say bow left or bow right? Oh, but okay. Alright, so she's moving... I don't know. Like here? Or something? I don't know if I do this. That does not make any... Okay. Well, if you want to figure out the relative course, I'm sorry. Go to someone who knows more. I gotta be honest, I don't know, because I'm stupid. The angle on bow is a thing that... that I've always used throughout my... Like every time I played U-Boat, so that's the thing I'm most accustomed to. Distance is a very easy thing to measure. You can either do this... and just be like, well, that's about 1.4-ish kilometers away. Or, when you're in the scope, you click this little measuring stick here. And now, oh, god damn it. Yeah, it wants you to identify the ship. That's Bell, yeah. And then you use Q and E, and you get this little, like, ghost image, as the game says. So you want to match up this line, this like ghost outline, with the bottom of the enemy ship, just like this. And then set 1.5 kilometers, which is probably right. And as you can see, now we have all the data we need. Now we go to the torpedoes, click to fill the torpedo tube, and now we're on pause. That entire time we've been paused. You can choose the depth if you want to. That is if you're using a magnetic setting. A magnetic setting... okay. We'll go over that as well. An impact pistol pretty much means that the torpedo will explode, you know, once it hits the enemy ship. Would you like how you'd imagine a torpedo works? If the target you're shooting at is at a ridiculously sharp angle where you are very confident, yeah, if I fire this torpedo, it's gonna like bounce off, it's not even gonna explode. What you will want to do is switch to a magnetic pistol and change the depth of that to be deeper than the draft of the enemy ship. So if I pull up this chart, we can see that she has a draft of 7.4 meters. So in that case, you'd want the torpedo to be about 8, maybe 9 meters down, so that it explodes underneath the enemy ship. So that's how that works with the impact and magnetic pistol. And now we just gotta wait for the tube to fill up. Everything seems good. Fire the torpedo. And you can see the little torpedo whiz away. And ta-da! Now whether or not it will explode, that's entirely up to the game. Because even when you're preheated, there is a tiny chance the torpedo does not explode. Well, as you can see, it did. Then yeah, that's... that's a big game over for her. Obviously, in this case, this was an illegal ship to sink. She is Norwegian. I'm not legally allowed to sink her. But this was, you know, as I said, kind of just to show off, to explain how this stuff works. I think that just about does it. I think I explained a lot of the important factors of the game. If you have any questions or want anything else explained, please sound off in the comments and I'll immediately go to make another video on that. But that just about does it. This will actually take up the episode, like the video slot for today. So kind of sorry about that. But anyhow, that just about does it for this, well, tutorial of Uboat. If you enjoy this and want to see more tutorials of Uboat, or, you know, as I said, or have any questions, please feel free to ask in the questions. I don't bite, and I'll be more than happy to explain stuff if it helps any of you A, understand the game better as you're watching, or if you're interested in getting the game yourself. But that just about does it. If you enjoy the kind of content that I make, then do be sure to leave a like or a comment to show your support. And if you want to go that extra mile, then do be sure to subscribe because it does help me out a lot. But until next time, I'll see y'all then. Bye bye.